Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Appreciate it very much. Yeah, it's working. Thank you. Thanks for holding this hearing. Dr. Rapp Hooper, in your testimony, you briefly discussed Beijing's economic coercion against Taiwan and some of the vulnerabilities Taiwan faces from that threat. In my district, there's a vibrant presence of the Taiwanese Chamber of Commerce for North America. I represent the Tampa Bay area, which I feel can be a vital tool for creating alternative trade opportunities for Taiwan. What are ways that we can reinforce such relationships at the federal level and at the state level?
That's a great question. Thank you so much, Congressman. I would want to give a little bit more thought to the specifics of what your district is doing, and will educate myself on that and share some more information with your staff. But on the question of the economic relationship with Taiwan, this committee and Congress as a whole has previously been very focused on the fact that the PRC has demonstrated both the capability and a will to use economic coercion against Taiwan, both in times of relative crisis and to put political pressure on it around major events like elections. I would suggest that another important agenda item for this committee is to think about how the PRC is likely to use economic coercion headed into Taiwan's 2028 election. In particular, to start thinking in advance about what we can do to help Taiwan build resilience in those product and trade areas where we've seen the PRC place pressure on it in the past. This means in key parts of the agricultural sector, in its fish sector, and in its construction sector, where we have previously seen trade sanctions from the PRC. So by taking advanced action and thinking through how we can build resilience by matching Taiwan's products to other markets, this committee could take on a key leadership role in helping to ensure that future PRC coercion does not negatively impact Taiwan.
Thank you again for Dr. Rapp Hooper. Appreciate it. I also serve as co-chair of the Congressional Hellenic Israel Alliance, and a big initiative we've been pushing is formalizing the concept of the AMEC corridor, an alternative economic route going from India, the Middle East to Europe. What are the obstacles for Taiwan's involvement in emerging regional trade opportunities such as AMEC that seek to isolate or counter China's One Belt, One Road initiative? And how can Congress help Taiwan's involvement in this and other new trade initiatives? Yes, for you, please.
Thank you so much. I would point to my colleague, Professor Ku's comments in his opening remarks about Congress's continued support of Taiwan's international space. Obviously, there are trade agreements that are difficult for Taiwan to participate in, but we also have organizations in which Taiwan is a party by way of its status as an economy, such as APEC. So I would suggest that looking for additional multilateral configurations where we can organize ourselves by economies would be a way to expand the aperture for including Taiwan in important initiatives on a go-forward basis.
Very good. Next question for Mr. Ku. We know that China uses economic and political leverage, particularly on small countries, to extract their support in international organizations to support China's political campaign of isolation against the independent Taiwan. Besides the United States and its allies trying to encourage these international organizations directly, what are efforts the United States can do to better combat China's influence more at the root level? Question for you, yeah.
The what level? At the root level, you mean?
Yes.
Yes. So I guess I'll just reiterate what I was saying. I think part of the problem is that the U.S. government is gigantic, but sometimes not focused, right? So I think if we had focus within our system that international organizations really do matter, that we are currently engaged in a push at the UN and other international institutions to reform the UN. And part of the way we should reform the UN is demand accountability for these kinds of bureaucratic norms that end up sort of, this is not even of small states pushing it. It's just like someone in the bureaucracy made the decision and no one paid attention, and all of a sudden Taiwan's a province. I think this type of thing where if we had more attention, we had someone in the U.S. government who's calling it out and paying attention to this, and the State Department would push back. We could make a real difference in many international institutions if we just paid more attention.
Very good. Thank you. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.